I'm Trek with 2Ks.
There we go. All right. So, ah, hola, hola, buenos noches, buenos. What just happened? What just happened to my? Can hello, hello? Anybody in there? If you could let me know if you can hear me, because it almost sounds might be the other headphone. I don't even know right now. Anywho, what's going on, y'all? It's been a minute. Yeah, I messed up on last week. I was just having too many technical difficulty that by the time I got anywhere near where I want to do the broadcast, it just didn't work. So yeah, figure out which thing of my audio is messing up right now, and I'm. Mm, mm. But yeah, so and then where I finally found my Mevo camera compared to the Logic camera is a better camera, lens and all that wise, but the way Mevo set that up is so annoying and horrible for how it has to like work, whatever. But anywho, technical stuff, life is happening. I'm here. It's a couple of stories that I had wanted to come on. I see the numbers. It says it's viewing. Hit me with a one if my audio go to work right now. What it is with how I might actually have to start doing these pre-records. It's gonna kind of be annoying because I like the live stream, but I might have to go back to doing the pre-records and dropping them out that way. Because the way Restream is working, and I was trying to do something with OBS, but OBS was slowing down my system. What the Restream was doing. So yeah, it's a whole annoyance right now with technology. But nonetheless, got a couple of things that caught my attention that I wanted to share last week. And then, of course, there's in the last couple of days on Twitter. Wanted to throw those out there. But let me run through this real quick. Maybe I should try to share this actual page so y'all see what I'm talking about. Hold on, where we at? This one, share screen. No, it's the window. Let's go that way. All right. So let's see if this does what it's supposed to do. Yeah, that'll work. All right. So wait, can you resize these? All right. Let me not mess around right now with that. But nonetheless, the first one that caught me here was this joint right here. Actually, come on, bro. This joint right here, right? So stop. So the basic thing that was on Cointelegraph, Trump family is launching American Bitcoin, a new mining venture in partnership with Ha, contributing their Bitcoin mining equipment for an 80% stake, with plans to go public and become vertically, integrated, um, become a vertically integrated industry leader. This guy right here is the head guy behind it. If I remember right, this guy was on the Trump side, and then this was a person doing the interview thing, talking to them. This is like the third thing that I've come across that mentions Trump adjacent, Trump connected people who are somehow going to be doing something connected to crypto. So whether it's the kids, the son or whatever, whether it's Ivana, whether it's him or like somehow someone connected to him. I'm very curious to see how this particular situation plays out. But it also worries me because you got to remember, like when the politicians get in, when the banker folks get in, it's usually on the end of they figured out how to make sure they make more of the profit and upper hand in comparison to the average Joe, or they at least have a better idea of how they can come in, grab some capital, and then exit and leave the public or the average. Kind of thing has me worried. We'll see how it plays out. I'm gonna try to pay more attention to this. I've been bookmarking these things across my radar. And the goal, I guess, at some point is to like run back through with Grok and be like, hey, how many of the things that I bookmarked for the year of, 2024, 2025, how many of these things got repeated again at some point later on in the year? And we'll see. I don't know. I'm experimenting with Grok, which is the AI thing within Twitter. If you haven't been playing around with it, it's a pretty interesting. I get why Reggie plays around with it. Also, as you see how the title is looking, yeah, I'm gonna get into that Reggie story in a minute. What was the other one? Exit market. Tether, yeah, not really. Well, Tether does have another interesting story that I'm gonna jump to. I only have the Arthur Hayes thing checked because I want to listen to it later to see what he's saying. I do think that Arthur is like a really under acknowledged person within this space. And at the same time, I also think the things that he's doing right now. All right, not worried about that. So this other tweet or post that I had seen, hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to figure out something. right, bet. So it's a restream YouTube thing. All right. So real quick, I'm just throw this out there, right? So I'm trying to work over on the Twitch side right now, along with the two YouTube channels. So it's just my channel, which is Trek with 2Ks, and then I got the Twitch thing going. But the way that the lag is working between Restream and Twitch, not Restream, Twitch, looked over on the Twitch channel, and it's not doing the same amount of buffering, laggy thing. I don't know what I got to fix or what I got recommendations. Please let me know. All right, I'm over here playing with my camera on the other joint. You're going to see it change in a minute for how wide it went. But all right, so here's this other joint that I seen by Reggie, which basically is talking about the future of like AI agents and org. At least in my view, my take on what's going on, we're about to see a crazy shift for white collar workers, either by the middle of this administration or like towards the end of this administration. And I think that it's in large part going to be a thing of like the AI is going to come in for the white collar jobs in a way that a lot of folks are not expecting. And I'm not talking, no, man, listen, if you're like a data analyst person or somebody who's doing like HR or accounting, like this stuff is definitely going to eat in to the more simpler types of organizations. Probably the more complex organizations will look to like experiment and stuff with it. But like Reggie had posted this video that basically talks about like how you can have an AI counterpart to the actual live person and then like task them out with stuff. And it's a crazy clip, and I would play it, but like it's gonna mess with the feed even more. The hoping part is that you see the video, or well, you see the screen share, and then that way, like, you know, you can go through and figure out where and what I was looking at the time, and you know, you get that. But it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. And I am hearing more and more talk of recession. And depending on who you've been paying attention to, the recession thing has been going on for a while, not like a month ago, not like 2 months ago, like more than 9, 12 months back, depending on who you're paying attention to and what type of metrics they are actually using to validate that argument. And so I was just saying to my coworker the other day, I was like, watch, talking about recession, but we'll see. Time will tell, you know, whatever. Next story that caught my attention was it this one? Let's see. Oh, so yeah. I mean, this is something that like King and I've been talking about for a minute. This is something a lot of people have been talking about as far as like getting financial education to the younger generation, right? And the thing about that is like the education we are past the school thing. My kids is past high school, you know, they still at the college phase of stuff right now. But as far as like the younger ages for education, here you have it that are not actually educated in the economy for how things are working, or like the situations that, or what is it, the system that we are being um what's the word I'm looking to? I want to say like pushed into, but more so like the social construct of like we're being taught to be a debtor society. We're being taught to be like a, well, if you can't actually afford it because you don't have it in your bank account, like it's okay, which is really just layaway. Like it's crazy now that you can do buy here, pay here for food. You can do layaway on food. That's wild to me. But this is the society that we're in right now. And considering that more people are using debt instruments such as credit cards, such as lending, like borrowing money and stuff, like this is where we are, right? But nonetheless, I don't know, like the idea that we're pushing back to be like, hey, let's have an introduction through it's like, ain't these the same folks who got us thinking it's sort of way to go? Like, is this really the folks you want to be in charge of educating your kids about, you know, the future advancements of money? I mean, I don't know if I 100% agree with that one, but caught my attention last week about again, there's X amount of connections with Trump family related members or like Trump adjacent people and like crypto related projects. So in this one, it's the handle is on democracy with PH Wellman, and this was posted for a video interview he did with Molly 0xF3F. I'm not endorsing this per caption caught my attention and some of what was being said. Again, I'm not playing the clip because it's just going to mess up how the feed is going. And so it says Molly, or is it expert Molly, lays out the millions poured into Trump by the crypto industry that has brought access and made him millions at the same time on the latest On Democracy Sunday show. It's the channel or whatever they were naming. But again, like there's at least three other like the first thing I had said, this one, and there was something else I can't remember the other thing. It seems like the crypto industry is somehow favoring Trump, like they're moving in that direction of Trump is the man. Don't ask me how that worked out. This joint. All right, so I be telling y'all like I pay attention to Woo Blockchain, right? It's one of the accounts that I follow. I've definitely noted how they have really started and expanding the number of not markets, but like verticals as far as like topic subjects that they have been keeping track of, where it's not just us talk like they're not just on the like we're only talking about blockchain stuff. Now it's like, all right, we're going to talk about stuff within like the American markets. And the other thing to note about this is a very Western focused Twitter channel. Like you don't really see them give the, well, here's, you know, what the like you don't get the day-to-day crypto stuff that's like Europe or that's like some African country or something that's like Latin America or like what's actually coming out of like South Korea, Hong Kong. You'll get things, but what you'll get is the stuff that's filtered out in the American context and slash American or Western relevance. I throw those things out as caveats for paying attention or at least having your information sources. Like, what is the bias in the information source that you're using, right? So for how you understand any space, how you understand the BS that I be talking about, how you understand the stuff that comes out of CNN, how you understand the stuff that comes out of the White House. Like, yo, when I tell you the new White House press person, like she's on par with the last, and you're just like, but that's not even reality. And you're really trying to gaslight me. But nonetheless, I Woo Blockchain, I've been following them for a while now, and I've seen how they expand in their verticals in regards to topics. But they still, what I like is they still stay at core and covering the crypto stuff. So this particular post goes: Pakistan appoints Binance founder CZ as official strategic advisor to Pakistan cryptocurrency, country with a population of 240 million, of which more than 60% are under the age of 30. The potential here is unlimited. I'm okay. Damn. I imagine he had to get a bunch of offers. Like he had they couldn't have been the only ones. They sure as hell probably weren't the first ones to be like, hey, come do something for our, our government. And in my mind, I'm more curious as to why he agreed to Pakistan. Like, why not? Wouldn't have been India? Why? I can imagine why we might not go back to, China, but like wasn't there somebody in like Singapore or like Hong Kong? Like, well, Hong Kong would have still been, that government connection. But like this one is one of those like, all right, big name for the crypto space who is now moving into a more governmental arena. Yeah, he was a head dude for Binance before, and like he had sins with government people, but it's him sitting on the council. But you're gonna have people looking at him to be like, well, you was the head of one of the top cryptocurrencies, so we're gonna really be looking at you like, all right, like, how do we really make this work for us from what you have as your experience? And I don't know, like I'm still kind of just like, really, Pakistan though? Like, the the governments, Pakistan. I, I'm gonna be curious when this man writes the book. Like, I'm really gonna be curious when he writes the book and explains this situation of why he agreed to go be on the Pakistan Cryptocurrency Council. And I imagine there's gonna be a couple other things that come out before. I was like, why does this look like that? Yeah. All right. Sorry, I just realized I didn't have one of the lights on. But what was the other one? Okay. Oh, and then like Binance did a move themselves. This is another post on thing that caught my attention. Binance has announced a strategic partnership with global payment technology giant WorldPay. Starting today, users can purchase cryptocurrencies via Apple Pay and Google Pay by simply linking a credit card and directly buy crypto. Where is it at? With fiat currency through the Binance app or web store. My thought process on that was, and I didn't go to read the full article on this when I seen it, is how does this work for the American customers now? Because like I haven't paid attention to Binance since they got I was paying attention when the new dude came in, but after that I just kind of stopped, and then I haven't used the exchange in a really, really long time, right? So the question is, how does this work for the American users? Because they're not distinguishing between Binance US and Binance International. So I'm assuming that this is Binance International that did this. which then gets into like, are they looking to expand their options in the American market, or is it like we just wanted to add the feature in a growing user base for those two types of tapping, like what is that, those, what am I thinking right now? I'm at a brain fart for the name of the Apple Pay, Google Pay thing right now. My bad. I can't think of it. But nonetheless, this is going to be interesting to see. And then the other part that's also going to be interesting is, and I noticed this with Apple folks, the amount of Apple folks who just leave their phone on as far as like the NFC tech, where you could just like tap and go and stuff. I wonder. Like, there's literally already, I think I had covered it like 2 weeks ago or something. There's already a malware that searches for it searches for this dude. At some point I have to follow up about this right here because he said some very interesting things. But what was I going at? Yeah, so there's already malware that if it infects your phone, it literally searches for the what's the thing called, the crypto wallets, right, that are on your phone. So, and then like X amount of them, well, really it's just the Binance one now, but if this is the first mover advantage, how many to go and add Google Pay ability, which then just like opens you up to more potential issues as far as software, like new malwares are going to do. Because I don't know how that would work off head. But again, what I've noted with people who have Apple, and I know there's a security feature for this, so like where you could like turn it off or you have to enter a code or something like that when you're doing the tap and go. But yeah, this just sounds like it's going to be problems down the road. That's my takeaway. It sounds like it's going to be problems down the road. Here is the other story that I seen that caught my attention, which is part of why the title is the way it's titled, about SEC. I mean, Reggie telling the SEC, put some respect on my name. And the basic idea is paperwork through the lawyer to be like, hey, y'all need the allegations that y'all made publicly about him being a, where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Being and you need to like, hey, I don't know if he's 100% actually, he's publicly put some respect on my name. Now, if Arthur Hayes can get exempted, the man only had house arrest. He ain't served no actual jail time. I'm just saying, why can't Reggie get his name officially cleared and put some respect on it for the SEC? Because, like, and I want y'all to look at this. Like, think about how many people the SEC went after and look around to see how many of them are still here now. Like, the folks who they actually caught who were doing the fraud, how many of them are still here now? Like, it's not, it's, but the point being is that he is, excuse me, technology. He has the patents. He's doing some interesting stuff with that. Like, I'm really curious to see how the smart metal stuff plays out. And I've been tracking him since the early days of him talking on Max Kaiser, when he got into the token, when he got into very assets. Don't take this as me to buy variant, blah, blah, blah. This is not what I'm saying. I have been paying attention and seeing the progress and seeing the journey from the outside. And, you know, I said to him earlier today, I was like, yo, hats off to you for the perseverance, bro. It has to be, you got to be a strong person to like look at your peers and counter in the industry, and you see how the government is going after folks. You're seeing how lives are getting ruined. You're seeing how it is going after the kids, like with official federal charges. And then it's like, well, we're not going to get you on fraud stuff, but like, you know, we're still going to keep this money, and we're not going to make you sign like non-competes where you got to stay out of the industry, which I already told you, I think there's a couple people who have the you can't touch the pump. I think they did something with CZ as far as the American markets. And who's the other one? Who's the other one? And I just Arthur, yeah, exemption. Well, he got the pardon. How does that work? Like, he signed that he's not going to do anything as far as a new company here in the States that's like, quote, crypto. All of that stuff just go out the window. I don't know. But yeah, shout outs and, you know, big ups to Reggie for holding the fire to the SEC. The folks who not here still standing, who's not trying to better the industry and like actually provide a not a fundable, but a usable product to the public, and trying to make innovations in the space. Like, usually people who are fraudsters or imitators or like or just not really with it all, or like grifters, they don't last space. Like, they don't, because they get caught and busted, they stop doing what they doing. At the end of the day, he's still like, I hope this does work out for him. I really do. And so real quick, it was well, the original post I seen was done by and I guess he's another YouTube guy. He was breaking down the documentation and stuff that Reggie has submitted to the courts to be like, hey, like, you know, y'all made the allegation, you didn't substantiate it, the court case ended the way it did, y'all took my money. All right, got it. That is what that is. But like, y'all need to like retract these allegation statements and like officially clear me out in the court officially, because you're doing it for other people. At the end of the day, you're doing it for other people. That's the point. As you can see, I'm over here like tracking a couple of different things. The whole luxury brand thing. This is the other post. Oh, this one I seen too. This thing with Bukele coming up to the White House, and Trump actually came out of the White House and like met him at the limo. Like, he got out, shook his hand and everything. I said, oh, okay. Is Bukele potentially getting a shoulder tap? Who knows? Is Trump trying to find another way into the Bitcoin era and being a grifter? probably, hell, bruh, for real, yeah, for real, man, for real. Like he said it a while ago. King said it a while ago. Like they probably all getting to like, hey, as long as you don't turn around and sue us, like we not gonna bother y'all again. But that's only relevant to this administration. Who knows what happens 2 administrations down, 3 administrations down? But X amount of the spaces, X amount of these companies in the space now, in my mind, are more than likely going to toe the line. Why? Because who's going to want to look to go public? Who has the investors that are trying to figure out, like, well, if everything is going cool in the space, like as far as the legal mumbo jumbo, like let's get back to me getting my returns on how much I put into y'all. So hey, toe the line and get me my money. That's how that's more than likely going to play out. And that after Trump leaves office, or even before Trump leaves office, that it's going to be the same, like, oh yeah, you guys are cool until you're not. That's it. But nonetheless, this joint with Bukele, like, I don't know what they talked about. I'll probably have to like follow up on that tomorrow to see like what the quote talking points were or whatever. It is interesting though to see that like he actually showed up, and at least for some of the other stuff that I saw, it looked cordial. I didn't actually look into like what was any of the like together press conferences that they had or anything, but you know, we'll see. Like people gonna talk on it, and we'll see how this plays out. So, what was the other thing that caught my attention? This one was today, which was the SEC extended the review period for 3 proposed rule changes. What is it? Nice Arca's proposal to allow Ether staking for Grayscale Ethereum Trust, and the CBO BZX proposals to permit in-kind creation and redemption of Winsome Tree Bitcoin Fund. At the end of the day, these folks are trying to figure out how to do more derivative financial wizardry. That's all that means. They're trying to figure out how to do more financial wizardry. Like they're using the actual technology. It's derivatives off technology that's more financial. That's it. And we'll see if they actually let them do that. And heaven knows what that's gonna mean come the the end of this administration. This was these 2 top ones right here. This was like the stuff I was looking at earlier before I actually came on. Those 2 really caught my attention because one, and I didn't even actually go into the post, like the thread, because there wasn't really that much commentary around it. But like Tether announced it would deploy Bitcoin hash rates to Ocean Mining Protocol to support decentralized mining infrastructure. The initiative will leverage its Tether Energy project to connect distributed energy resources to the mining network. Ocean was founded by Bitcoin core developer Luke Duscher. That is this supposed to be Dash Jr.? But nonetheless, I have to look into that because I'm picturing a person, but I'm not 100% if that who the person is that I'm picturing Luke as. But strange bedfellows as far as Tether being a stable coin, and then saying like, all right, well, you know, we're interested in this mining thing and supporting. Like, granted, the news source is actually from Tether's website, so that's more of just a press release that the social media, the marketing person wrote. That whole thing of like, oh, we're supporting decentralized mining infrastructure. Like, you know, you caught some of the right phrases because you were talking about Bitcoin. So you couldn't have been like, well, you know, we want to streamline the mining process. We want to make it more centralized. Like, you can't say that, because that just goes like opposite of, right? But I don't know, like I have to look into this more. And there's somebody else I actually want to ask about this. I'm gonna tag them in this. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with this stream, I'm gonna tag them in this, because it's definitely a who is crunching the numbers, or how do I say this? I don't know what ocean mining is or who ocean mining is. I have to look into them separately. And there's somebody else I could ask actually about the mining company Ocean and their protocol stuff. But like, I don't know what the Tether Energy project is. And it's did y'all have, and is this even going to be in the United States? Because I don't know where Ocean is. And they didn't even, they didn't tag them. So it's like, well, who's the company Ocean? Is it an American company? No, that's not what I wanted. States, like, where is this going down at? Again, Wu blockchain, they are very Western focused in their stuff. Just scanning through the thread, and like I said before, like, the thing that worries me when you start having the financiers and like political folks get into something that initially is like argued as a disruptor, or okay, I didn't know about Jack. Got you. Thank you. Usually when folks or entities slash folks get into something that is seen as like, oh, it's against the grain, or it's speaking truth to power, or it's for the people, it's usually a matter of they figured out the angle that works for them to either extract capital value and run, or always wins in that system. I don't know which one of these that is. And I only say that because it's Tether, it's a stable coin. It, as a company, you know, it's interesting to be like, oh, so you guys are for decentralization of mining, but you're pro KYC and like information collection, even though people are using Tether in all types of different ways that don't follow quote KYC. So I don't know. I guess it's interesting, and there's really no traffic on this post. Like, those are all like spam stuff. Yeah, you know. I guess that's something to look into later on. All right. So this other one, Avalon Labs announced that it has provided Bitcoin lending services to Bybit, assisting its financial platform to launch a stable income product on the chain. The product operates through Avalon's fixed charge strategy. Avalon Labs has previously established a certain market share in the field. Sorry, it's been a long day, y'all. I've been kind of busy this week. I'm gonna get into that at the end of this, though. So the field of Bitcoin stablecoins and on-chain lending. That's what caught my attention when I had seen this. I was like, wait, what's a Bitcoin stablecoin? Somebody let me know, because apparently I'm really not paying attention that we now have Bitcoin stablecoins. Like, when did that happen? Let me know. When did that happen? That we have Bitcoin stable coins. Is that on chain? Like, again, we are conditioned as terms of like our financial education to see the value in debt instruments and debt mechanisms. Like, that's what it sounds like they're promoting here, is a debt instrument based on Bitcoin, but apparently it's a stable Bitcoin, which is just like, because here's the thing, right? You can go to 10 different exchanges and the price of Bitcoin will vary between all of those exchanges, let alone if you jump into different geographical regions. So like if you do a Colombia, if you do a UK, and then if you do here in the States, and then like you got another exchange in Canada, like, and you're gonna see it could be a big slippage in price difference, or it could be a little, all right, couple cents, maybe, you know, less than a couple penny kind of thing. Pardon. So it's like, how are y'all, what financial wizardry are y'all working on the back end to make it, quote, a stable Jesus, pardon me. And so how do you even have that on chain? Like, you're arbitraging, like, what ends up on chain? Too many questions. Like I was saying, you know, the weekend. I've been semi-productive, right? I'm a 2 books right here. So I got me a Yeehaw truck. One. It's not a Bronco, but it is a F-150, a 1990 joint. And I'm over here trying to make sure I can do a certain level of self-sustainment when it comes to my vehicles. I got a newer joint too, but you know, it's a 08, so it's not a new. But again, I'm over here trying to figure out how to have a certain level of self. I will be able to fix certain things for myself. That's the intention and goal, right? I bring this up, like, for as much as we talk about, you know, the new age of technology and crypto is the future and like, at the end of the day, and I'm a weird animal in that way when I talk to other people who are into techie things, or like, well, you know, you get into conversations with folks and you're like, oh yeah, like I do stuff like you know, basic camping. Like, I could throw up a tent, start a fire in rain, right? But I didn't just get that understanding, or it took a while. And it's the same thing, like, to understand stuff about trading and the markets, and or like the different wallet technologies, or just like the different blockchain technologies and the consensus mechanisms. Like, you don't just, quote, get it overnight, right? But you do take the time. Hopefully you take the time, I should say it that way. Hopefully at this point you take the time to do your due diligence in, you know, learning the things that either you find interesting or are relevant to your, and that's part of the reason why is I was on the, like, all right, I want to get, you know, some older car, and I have a newer one, quote, but I also want to be more self-sustainable in being able to maintain those vehicles. Because if you know anything about like how the trucking market looks right now for used vehicles, like Ford F-150s a 90, a 87. Like them joints is 5-figure numbers right now. You talking about more than 10K, especially if they left it, if like you bought it from somebody who maintained it. Back up right now. On another side note, like even the Outback that I got, right? I was looking for the longest, not the longest. I was probably like here and there looking between 22 and 23 for a Forester, right? And I'm looking. At the time, I don't got the money. I'm not even gonna lie. Don't got the money for it. Well, I don't have the money to put into that. I should say it that way. And so I'm looking at Facebook Market, looking at like a couple actual car sites, and I'm trying to see like how things are looking. And lo and behold, like the what's the things called? The Foresters, and I was looking for 5-speed manual between the years, what is it, the 05 to 08. Those are considered the more reliable or durable years for looking. I'm seeing, things here there, and we get into 2024, and I don't know what happened like after the first quarter, but it was like all of the manual Subarus just disappeared, or the prices were crazy. You talking about like a '05 with, let's I was on it, that's like 8K. What? Are you mad? And so one day I just happened to look on Facebook Market, who's also a Subaru guy, and he was like, all right, that makes sense. That's a good price. This is like under 3K, right? But this is at like 190,000 miles on it. Um, Americans, new age drivers definitely do not like stick shift. So it just made sense to me. And I'm also on this, like, I need to get lower insurance because the insurance that I had before, because of my Maxima, was wild. And so nonetheless, the point being is like, you look at what's going on right now in this economy, in this world. And this isn't me telling you what to do in your life. I just know what I'm doing. And part of that is collecting, organizing things around me that work in a better ability to self-sustain. Can't fix it myself. Do I at least got somebody else in my network who could help me fix it, or they could do it and we could barter something out? Or it's not gonna like kill my bank if if I can't do it myself. I got somebody in my network as a mechanic who could do it, and it's not gonna kill me. Right? Even with the precious metal stuff, example of with the stuff that Reggie's doing with the smart metals, right? Which is basically using the silver, and it has a whole like QR code, and it's connected to the blockchain because of the QR code and blah 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 blah. Nonetheless, so let's say none of the technology development happens for the smart metal that he would like to apply, right? None of that happens. At the end of the day, you still have an ounce of silver. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to how that market look right now for precious metals, especially like in hand precious metal, the physical stuff. It don't look like what it was pre-COVID. This isn't me telling you where, and like look around you, you see how is your environment put together for you to be able to like, yeah, survive, but like, or at least like you have the resources of people and things within the network. Whatever that, you're not gonna build these things overnight. I promise you, you're not gonna build these things overnight. But if you do start today, don't wait till next week. If you do decide to take some action, and just do your due diligence, right? Do the due diligence, because I was just even talking today to another mechanic, because the person who was working, or the shop that was working on the Ford for me, even talking with them, it's just like, yeah, it's looking kind of crazy out here right now, because people are trying to get stuff fixed, and it's just like, oh well, I don't have that much money to be able to fix that. All right, well, and then if you go into an official shop place, I can't fix that for you if you don't got the money to pay for it. So again, if you're paying attention to certain indicators, ooh, total tangent but related. Total tangent but related. I'm gonna leave it on this and then get out, because it's already, time is what it's doing. If you know anything about Maryland, I noted going towards Havity G area, I saw a tent city, and I only happened to notice it because I was a passenger in a truck, and being in the truck, you're X amount higher than, like, car. And I just happened to turn my head and I seen somebody walking like out of this bush area. And I said, wait a minute, is that a tent city? Like all the way up here? Like, whoa, that's wild. Like, mind you, this is maybe 5 miles outside. No, maybe 5 miles. I don't think it's as far as 5 miles exactly, but nonetheless, this is like outside of a military post. And the thought process in my head is, things are happening, people's lives are being changed and adjusted in not all of the most positive ways. But people are resilient in that they will always still find a way to survive and to thrive, or like to make it, or to pool resources together to build community, right? So like it's a double-edged sword in how I saw that, where it's just like, all right, these people pooled their resources together to do this, but on the other side of it, it's like, oh man, the things are already happening. Like, again, depending on what you or who you paying attention to, the recession been going on for more than 6 months. And that's just the first tent city that I happen to notice up in APG, Maryland. So I'm just hoping everybody is going to pick up on what's going on sooner than later, and not wait for, the administration to tell y'all, oh yeah, stuff is messed up. Because like I said, I think once we get past 100 days with this administration, that's when they're going to start being like, oh yeah, like recession. And they already told you, we're not worried about the stock market. And remember, the stock market does not equal the actual economy. The stock market is just a financial wizardry world that is not the same as the actual economy. Granted, there are some overlapping connections and things that can happen, but it's not the same thing as, are people working and is there production of product and service? That's the economy. That's not the stock market. Nonetheless, let me get off my horse. Let me call this shit a day. I definitely got to figure out this technology thing as far as like how I'm dealing with this streaming stuff, because I can see the delay on the YouTube side. The Twitch side is actually pretty good. It's the YouTube side. I don't know. Nonetheless, for the folks that were tapping in, I appreciate y'all. For the lurkers, I appreciate y'all. For the scammers that are going to jump into the comments on this, Lord, we must be doing something right, because when I tell you, when I be checking the comments all out, like maybe a week or 2 weeks later, I just be like, yo, like what's going on? Like, how are y'all even picking up on this to make this much noise and troll and do foolery? Also understand, I'm not endorsing any of these projects that y'all see in the comments. Like, that's not what we doing here. So remember, do your due diligence. Don't fall for these scammers. Don't fall for these lurkers out here, because they out here. But other than that, I hope y'all have a good Monday. I hope it was a good Monday for y'all. Hope it was productive. The week is still pushing on. And hopefully, you don't got to stress out this week. And as I say, like, from one human to the next, the best that I can wish you is to be in a safe place, in a safe space, in a good company. And other than that, y'all, one. Where are you?
I'm Trek with 2Ks.